in chunks all over, you see. Oh my gosh. Alright, quiet. I had the phrasing wrong. Here we go. Your refrigerator won't cool your food. The milk is pouring out in chunks all over your cereal. Now you're asking, what do I do? That's why I created this DIY for you.
So your refrigerator isn't cooling properly. Your milk is pouring out in chunks all over your cereal. What do? Call the repairman? Maybe? That'll be $500, sir. What? You don't need to do any of that. Just check out this DIY, and I'm gonna walk you through the steps on how to fix it yourself. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so the first thing we're gonna do is just try to figure out what the temperature is on each side, because you know, a refrigerator should be operating at around 37 degrees Fahrenheit. Your freezer should be operating at around 0 degrees. I wouldn't really recommend too much warmer than that, otherwise it's not going to keep your food good as long. So what I'm going to use to just check temperatures out is this little digital infrared thermometer, and we're going to kind of see what the temperature is on this top shelf here. 55 degrees Fahrenheit. So my suspicions were correct. It's not nearly cold enough. Okay, we're going to check out the bottom now. We're at about 42 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, not quite cold enough even on the bottom. So we got some issues here. All right, so I already knew what the problem was here, but this should never happen in a freezer. You should not have ice building up like this. A freezer is designed with a defrost cycle, so every 8 hours or so, it's going to automatically stop your compressor, stop the cooling process, and behind this wall back here is actually a heating element that's wrapped around the coils of the evaporator, and it's going to heat up and should kill off any frost that is starting to form. And like I said, that's going to happen every 8 hours or so. And because I see a huge buildup of, it's like a winter wonderland in here, that means that process is not happening. So it could be that I have a bad Defrost Timer, which is the mechanism that's in charge of performing that cycle every 8 hours. That's my guess, but we're going to kind of dig in and check it out. I have already replaced my evaporator fan, which is right behind that wall right there. Before I did that a couple years ago. Let's check out one more thing here. I actually forgot to check out the temperature that's in here. Okay, well, we're at like 1 degree in the middle. 18, 16, that doesn't seem quite cold enough. Well, that's definitely not cold enough. All right. Okay, you can see this thing right here. This is where the cold air from the freezer that is actually getting blown by the evaporator fan enters the refrigerator side. This should be blowing cold, and I should feel it on my hand. And that cold air is actually what cools this entire side, your refrigerator side. That's why my temperatures are so off, because there's no cold air coming out of that right now. So we're gonna go back to the freezer and start taking things apart and see what we can find. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is actually get all of this accumulated frost, snow, whatever you want to call it, out of the freezer so we can access the panels that are behind there. And then we're just gonna see what we can find. Okay, now we're going to remove our ice dispenser. That just slides right out. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is just remove our shelves. And everyone's gonna be a little bit different, but we just snap that off. And then there's a little clip right back there. That's gonna have to come off. Usually they can just push off. It's easier if you have two hands, of course. Okay, that's off now. Once that's off, it's just gonna slide in, up, and out. So I've got this little scraper tool. I'm just gonna use this to easily scrape all this stuff off without scratching everything up.
That's a pretty thick layer. Yikes. That's pretty bad. Holy moly. Look at that thing. wear some winter gloves.
You could probably use an ice scraper too. I just thought of that because that's exactly what I'm doing. All right. I think we pretty much got everything scraped that we can. The next thing we're going to do is remove these bolts. Here, there's every fridge is probably going to have a different number of them. That's just going to allow us to remove the panels. Okay, this is a 1/4 inch on mine. So we're just going to take all these off.
This guy won't come out for some reason.
Okay, so that's the evaporator coil. And right now we're going to do a quick test to see if our defrost heater is working. There's a way on my refrigerator to do that. Basically, you open the refrigerator and very quickly press and release the light switch on and off 5 times fast. So I'm going to do that right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There it went. And you can kind of see it at the very bottom of the video right now. That's just going to start. It's just going to start to heat up. We'll get out our digital thermometer to verify. Okay, so you can see at the very bottom of the screen, it's red. And it's 460, 470 degrees. And that melts all of this frost that's all over the evaporator. And then below that, you can kind of see is the drip pan. That's where it's dripping. And you can see how red hot that is. All right, so I'm just lifting this panel so I can see our fan here to see if it's rotating. And as you can see, it is. So the fan is good. This is the part that I replaced a couple years back. So it's bringing the cold air from here and it's sucking it up through there to the refrigerator on the other side. So the evaporator fan is working and the defrost heater coil is working, yet we're still frosting up. My guess is going to be that our defrost timer is not working correctly. So if our defrost timer does not turn on our heater element every 8 hours or so, then we're going to have frost buildup like we had. So that is my guess. And I'm going to see if there's any diagnostics that I can do on that. Otherwise, I will just replace the defrost timer and we should be good to go. So one thing I've noticed is when I manually put the freezer in defrost mode, the defrost timer is making all kinds of funky sounds, clicking and just being really noisy in general. And I'll show it to you. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be that loud, but that was pretty loud. Now when I turn it back on, it's pretty loud as well. Ow. There we go. Doesn't sound quite normal. It's actually blowing nice and cold right now, but it usually does not do that. It usually just kind of kicks on and off and on and off and is really noisy. I think in order to show that to you, I would just have to sit here for a while until it does it. But we're just going to go ahead and replace this defrost timer. It's actually it's an Adaptive Defrost Control Board, and you can pick one of these up for about 70, 80 bucks. I'll have a link down below where you can pick that up and help support my channel. I'm fairly confident that once I replace this, everything's going to start working. All right, so the first thing we're going to do to get to the Adaptive Defrost Control Board.
Let's get our lighting correct. What in the world?
All right, so the first thing we're going to do to get to our Adaptive Defrost Control Board, which is behind here, is remove these 3 screws. One there, and one here. And then there's also one right there. This here, and then this one back there is actually a 1/4 inch socket. So if you find yourself not able to get this back one with a Phillips like I just did, you'll know why. It looks like we're also going to have to remove this bolt and that bolt, as well as that bolt, which are all 1/4 inch. All right. So we're just going to unplug that plug back there, and then we'll be able to remove the Adaptive Defrost Control module, which is here. And I believe we're also going to have to remove the wiring harness from it. So we got the unit out of the fridge, and this is the Adaptive Control Board. As you can see, the first 2 Phillips head screws that we removed did not actually have to be removed because they secure the Adaptive Control Board to the housing here. So you can skip that step and do it now, or you can do it then, and you'll be right where I'm at. So basically, we squeeze down here and we pull it right out. And this is the culprit right here. So we're going to replace this. The new one, I believe, is orange. So I'm just gonna leave the wiring harness in place for now. And when I get the new wiring harness, I'm going to just replace one connector at a time so I don't get too confused. All right, guys, we got the new module. Here is the actual module. We got the new wiring harness. Like I said before, I'm gonna have a link to where you can purchase this down below, and it'll help support my channel, so I appreciate that. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is just kind of lay out the wire in the orientation that the old one is. And you'll find that everything is kind of going to match pretty closely. So, you know, this is the plug that goes into your, I'll just call it the defrost timer. It's a lot easier than Adaptive Defrost Control Module. So that's going to go like this. You know, we'll just start doing this one thing at a time here. It might be simpler to work backwards from these connections. Let's try to do it that way. That goes there. Green goes there. I got a black and a white and purple. There's the white and purple. There's the black. I got another green. It goes here. So if I just remove all those, all of these can come out. We got an orange to orange. We got a black to black. So these are all matching up identically, at least up until this point. So to make things easier, I'm going to go ahead and remove everything from here forward and then connect everything. All right, the black is gonna go on the bottom one. And the orange one goes on top. So looks like everything goes on this side. Not that it matters too much. Next up is the black and the white and purple. Black is on the bottom. The white and purple on top. There's only one left over here. As you can see, I screwed that up. These wires have to actually go through the hole and connect out here. So we'll just redo those. No biggie. We are gonna have to take this off. I don't see any screws or anything, so I believe this just pulls away, but I'm definitely trying to be careful. Oh, okay. It is just glue. It's really strong glue, but I was able to see that it is, in fact, just glue. But that doesn't mean that the styrofoam isn't gonna get tore apart on us.
Ridiculously resilient glue. Holy moly. I'm gonna have to get a knife. This is like Spider-Man webbing.
All right, so we got this guy glued back together here, a couple pieces. Just use some handy dandy Gorilla Glue. All right, now this piece here has to fit back. So this is gonna go like this. Let's see, but first this has to come in here. Now you probably won't need to do this unless you completely removed it like I did. Now we got some plugs here. In the instructions it says, basically since we're using the Adaptive Defrost Control 4, we had a 1 or a 2 which has 2 switches, one there, one here. The new one only utilizes 1 switch, and it utilizes the switch closest to the foam. It does not use the switch closest to the motor, is what our instructions tell us. So this is the one that we're going to use, and it's going to go in here like this. And it goes here. And we got a ground. So this one hanging here we don't even use. All right, so we're gonna make sure this is in its track again, and we're gonna fit it back into here. All right, I think that's in. That's gonna plug up into the top of the fridge, and the only thing we have left is our Adaptive Control Board. So here's our 2 holes for our screws on this side. So we'll line those up. It's gonna go like that. So this is gonna plug in like this. I think it really matters how these wires are oriented, just so that they are all behind here, which they are. All right, I think we're good. We're ready to reinstall this into the side of the fridge, and then this in the top of the fridge. All right, we are done and ready to plug it in. Okay, we're crossing our fingers. Ooh, that sounds a lot better. I instantly feel the cool air coming over, so that's a good sign. It's coming out steady. It used to come on and off, and now it's just totally steady. Oh, I'm loving it. Hey, what's up, guys? It's the next day after the fix that I just did yesterday. And the refrigerator's temperatures should all be leveled by now, so I'm going to use my handy dandy infrared thermometer like I did yesterday, and we're going to show you what the temperatures are now in the fridge and in the freezer. Hopefully they are what they should be and the fix was successful, but we shall see. Moment of truth. Here we go. 37.5, 30, perfect. We have solved the problem, y'all. Let's go down here a little bit. 36, 35.7, down here towards the bottom. All right, and let's feel what's coming out of this thing here. So no air is coming out of here at all, which just means that the damper door is closed. Rightly so, because we just took temperatures and the refrigerator, as of right now, is as cool as it needs to be, so the door does not even need to be opened. All right, and now let's check out the freezer side. Whoa, -16, -14. That's actually a little too cold, I would think. Let's see what it is down here. Okay, that's okay. I'm hitting right on a freezer bag now. 31. How about the very bottom of the freezer? 10. And up at the top, -8. I think we're in business, guys. All right, so there you have it, YouTube. Another fix under our belt. We had a fridge that was on the fritz. If you have a fridge that is acting similarly, now you know the steps that you have to take in order to get it running again. So I hope you liked the video, guys. If so, please leave me a comment down below. If you have any suggestions, what I should do differently, what you'd like to see in future videos, put them down below. I will definitely read them and I'll respond. And if you like the video, please like it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. You know, I do a lot of similar DIY videos. I do also some unboxings, some tech review, so kind of a wide variety of stuff. Hope you guys enjoy, and until next time, see ya. Out in chunks all over, you see. Oh my gosh. All right, quiet. I had the phrasing wrong. Here we go. Your refrigerator won't cool your food, and milk is pouring out in chunks all over your cereal. Now you're asking, what do I do? That's why I've created this DIY for you.